We have 7 days until no deal Brexit, and Downing Street is in turmoil. Hello everyone and welcome to today's show. There's a bit of a chaotic situation at the heart of the British government. Last night, all because of different factions and childish party political games that's affecting ordinary people's lives. The consequences and the impact will be shown. All the big issues that's been going on, whether it's the economic crisis, the lockdown situation, or the Brexit deadline. I'm going to give you the update of what happened last night, a quick summary, and why it matters when it comes to Brexit. But before we start the show, you also have a deadline. You have until 11:59 p.m. tonight, UK time, to use your special discount code THANKYOU10 for our I Believe in Britain merchandise. As you know, this is as a thank you to you guys for supporting this channel. We've just obviously reached 200,000 subscribers. So we have until later tonight, until the end of tonight, Thursday, to use this discount. So after the video, make sure to check out the link in the description and get your merchandise. Now, quick update. What's going on with the government? So you remember this picture from the 2019 election night. You had Boris Johnson, you had his fiancée, Carrie Symonds, and Dominic Cummings, his chief advisor. Everybody's happy, celebrating. That didn't last too long, did it? Because you currently have 3 different factions controlling Downing Street. You currently have people like Dominic Cummings as the chief advisor, and until last night, Lee Kane, who was the director of communications, who's just resigned. I'm going to give you the reason. So that, and obviously people like David Frost, who's the chief negotiator for Brexit. On the one hand, you have the original Brexit side, the Vote Leave side, the people who came from the Vote Leave campaign, people like Cummings and others, and Lee Kane. And then you have a different faction who are people from London City Hall, from the days when Boris Johnson used to be the mayor of London. That's another faction, who they're just the normal advisors and everyone. And then you have Carrie Symonds, his fiancée, who's not elected. She's not obviously an advisor. She's just there. But obviously she also has a faction. That's what's going on right now. And there's a bit of a clash between various sides. Now, what happened was that last night, Lee Kane, who was the director of comms, he was offered to become Boris Johnson's chief of staff. He was actually planning to promote Lee Kane to that role, but there's been some opposition. Carrie Symonds, who's Boris's fiancée, and she used to be a SPAD herself, she doesn't like Lee Kane. They've been clashing, and I'm going to tell you why they've been clashing. It's been going on since last year, and Carrie Symonds is not happy. Then you have Allegra Stratton, who's the new press secretary. She's going to be the face of the government. She came from the ITV and the mainstream media. She also has issues with the Vote Leave side, or the Vote Leave side, the Brexit side. Lee Kane and Dominic Cummings had issues with her. She also has a new job, so she's not happy about Lee Kane. So Lee Kane resigned last night. He released a statement saying, that, I'm resigning, and it's been great working here. It's a privilege to work as an advisor for Boris Johnson for the last 3 years. Everything was good until the moment he actually even said, there was a reason he mentioned this, and it was an honour to be asked to serve as the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff. Even though obviously that promotion got blocked, but he just said it anyway so that people know that he was offered that role. So that happened, and then you have a situation where, because of the tensions, a lot of the MPs and ministers were also against Lee Kane's promotion. So a lot of the backbenchers and also some of the ministers who are not from the Vote Leave side, the Brexit side, have always been against Dominic Cummings and Lee Kane and their influence. So they've been happy that Lee Kane had resigned. Obviously Allegra Stratton, who's now been hired as the new face of the government, because she took the job by saying that she demanded to have direct access to the Prime Minister, people like Dominic Cummings and Lee Kane did not like that. But obviously she now has direct access and Lee Kane is now gone. And then this whole thing escalated. So because of this, you had Dominic Cummings also, the rumours came from Downing Street last night that he's also considering to resign. Now, in the middle of all this tweet came from Sebastian Payne saying that Tory officials are also worried that Kane's promotion as the Chief of Staff would have meant that no women in Boris Johnson's inner circle They said that does the Prime Minister think that this is appropriate? All the people with access to him would be men. That's hardly governing in the spirit of Biden Harris. I'm very confused. What's going on? These are Tory officials, conservative officials, being obsessed with people's gender. You still have women at the top as well. I'm not really sure why this is relevant, but apparently it is. Now, we talked about those who have been happy about Lee Kane resigning, but not everybody is upset or happy. There are some people who work in Downing Street number 10 who haven't been quite pleased about this news that Lee Kane is leaving, and obviously Dominic Cummings were also considering last night to quit, but he changed his mind last minute. Don't know if they managed to convince him or whatever happened, but there have been rumors that they say he might still consider resignation in the next few days. But also David Frost, who is the chief negotiator for Brexit. And I'm going to get into this, why it matters, because if he goes, obviously he said that he's not going now, but they were all considering last night, the whole thing could affect Brexit. So the whole situation is now everyone's been talking about all these chaotic political games, that it's all childish. Like, I'm not even taking any side at this point. It's what's happening. It does matter. It's very important because it's affecting ordinary people's lives. Why? Because they have like petty games and all this weird stuff between each other. So, for example, Lee Kane and Carrie Simmons fell out after Carrie arranged this kind of PR stunt at a picnic table with Boris Johnson back in last summer, following their row, to show that, oh, the couple are still very happy. And Lee Kane wasn't happy that he wasn't really told about that photo op. Also, Carrie is also thought to resent him for largely keeping her out of the loop since Boris Johnson assumed power as Prime Minister. Probably because he's the advisor and she's just a fiance, but I'm just guessing that should be how things are. But Nick Robinson said that the battle over who runs Downing Street matters, not just because we are in the middle of obviously the whole pandemic and everything, and also the economic crisis, but also we may be days away from Boris Johnson having to choose between deal and no deal with the European Union. This matters because you've got the Vote Leave side who've been obviously controlling, they say they've been controlling the whole game, the whole platform, and Boris Johnson has now acted against his Vote Leave side twice. First, by hiring Allegra. Second, by declining to make Lee Kane his chief of staff. So the whole thing is now slowly changing. They're trying to get rid of the Brexit side in Downing Street to make sure that the other side control it. And now, if the rule of the Vote Leave faction comes to an end, who and what will replace it? What is Johnsonism? Who can deliver levelling up? What will guide the UK through the next phase? What does Brexit look like? All these questions are now prompted by Kane's resignation. We don't really know. And Brexit is only 7 days away until the new deadline that the EU is now set for no deal. And whether David Frost goes or not, that's not at this point irrelevant. You just need some sort of unity. Because now you have people like Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, coming out and say this is all pathetic. All these infightings are pathetic. On the one hand, he's right. Absolutely right. On the other hand, not really sure he has any leg to stand on, because on the same day today, this came out in the BBC. Can Keir Starmer keep hold of his party machine? There's a massive division in the Labour Party between trade unions and the leadership, and he's going out there saying, "Oh, look at me! I'm your better, strong and stable leader." And Boris Johnson is now weak. Yeah, Boris Johnson is weak. Doesn't mean you're better. You're all the same at this point. Everybody's weak. And as we said, there's now a new fishing ultimatum that the new deadline time is up. We've got 7 days until this latest deadline that's been set for no deal. We know that the real deadline is actually end of December, but this is now because it's getting close. Because if there's going to be a deal, it has to be done before the end of December. Because it has to be ratified, it has to go through the European Parliament and the European Council, every single country. So you can't really have a deal being signed in the actual last hour on the 31st of December. It has to be done before. So we will find out whether we're going to have deal or no deal before the end of December. That's why they have this new deadline to put pressure. But this is all jeopardizing the whole situation. There's no unity. Who is actually running the show? And all because of childish political games and everything else. But on this channel, we'll keep you guys posted. The next video, we're going to talk about how the Labour Party has bankrupted London. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to get your merchandise and get your discount code. And as I said, you only have a few hours left, so make sure to use that code. And thanks again for watching. Thanks for the support. I'm my Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.